set our focus on heat number 10, where we've got, well, the rookie of the year to be, really. He's been on a tear. Italo Ferreira up against New Zealand's Ricardo. Christie definitely chasing some big finishes in these last two events to get himself in a position to re-qualify for the championship tour next year. Ronnie Blade, Ricardo, mostly first round battles with 24 minutes to go. Italo is going to swing, but Ricardo, he had priority. And he puts it to use here, throwing plenty of water and throws his board up over the coping, doesn't spin it into reverse, but rides out with ease. He'll take a bit of confidence from that, I'm sure, into this battle.
Priority with blue, so you can see Italo getting out of the way for Ricardo. Nice little snap there. Crisp surfing, just the two moves, but he looks really switched on. Surfboard under his feet is looking magical.
I'm happy with my boys.
And I guess one more last question, but it's been a weird day. You had a bunch of upsets. Didn't happen to you in that, but just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, that was a crazy day. I watched so many heats, and especially those two heats with number 1 and 2, Mig and Adriano. That was pretty.
20 minutes remaining in this heat, and Ricardo Christie, well, he's got a 6.67. But Italo Ferreira has been building some momentum, as we see the Kiwi up once again. Couple of big turns, throwing plenty of spray, brings it through to the inside, still bashing this wall. So he finishes on the sand, and he likes the feel of that wave. So playing the patience game out there, and it paid off, Ross.
Again, so you can see how that lower tide, that water is leaving, draining off the sandbar. The conditions are changing, and then it affected that last ride from Ricardo. Nice surfing, but you can see that wave raced off in front of him, so he was constantly trying to play catch-up. So watch as he gets on his heels here. He's just trying to get that speed. See that notorious tight transition. Really nice first turn there, getting the tail out the back, and then a couple of lip climbs. So again, with this tide draining out, these waves are going to get a little trickier to time. You really got to make sure you're just ahead of the curve. 5.5 for Italo right here on the right-hander. Again, really steep. Cramped a little wave there, but two nice floats for Italo.
And live action now as Ricardo Christie finds another left. Just a quick wave. Just over 18.5 minutes to go, and it looked like Italo Ferreira picked off the right-hander, flexing that backhand. It's been a real weapon for him.
So we'll see if these guys can make that transition as we watch Italo boost into the air, full row.
Oh.
Just that back foot again, so tough to keep that foot planted on your deck. There's so much pressure when you land into the flats like that. It's hard to not slip.
QS at this stage. So he's really going at it here in Portugal. And he might have a decent right-hander to work with here. Generate some speed. Driving off the bottom, straight into the lip. Almost rides out of an air reverse. He's definitely giving it everything at the moment. 16 minutes to go to the CT and try and re-qualify that way. He's enjoyed his time on tour. He's got his girlfriend Sophie and their two boys, Eli and Milo, traveling with them. But what goes wrong here, Ross?
Just a tough landing. You can see right there as he picked the nose, his board got stuck in that really tight transition and couldn't quite scoop out of it. He needed to project a little more into the flats to give him just another second or two to get his weight and his body over the deck of the board.
But it's Italo with priority at the moment, and a decent looking wall approaching him. Let's see what he can do. Drives up into the pocket for this first turn. Huge release of the tail there. A little bit too much, in fact, and he takes a fall. So priority now with the Kiwi again. Low through each of the heats, and even though he said that his knee's fine, I got some doubts. I think he's really battling at the moment. But he's taking another wave here. Let's see what he can do. As always, just gets lots of speed and goes to a big backside air reverse and somehow hangs onto it. You can see his knee is heavily strapped. And it looks like he's going to head in for a board change here, Ross.
That's right. You can see his buddy Jadson Andre right there. Fellow tour mate. Switching to that varial surfboard there, designed by Timmy Patterson.
I was keeping a real close eye on him as he ran and sprinted out of the water.
Geez, he already went to the air with the other board. Look out now.
Well, the tips were coming from Jadson Andre as he ran down to his buddy. He was saying, take it easy, relax, you got time.
Was he?
That's exactly what he was saying.
You're fluent in Portuguese now, Ronnie.
No, just got people on the ground.
Solid. Watch this wild air right here. Amazing he could reconnect with his board. That was squirrely. And, you know, amazing feat for him to fish his board back underneath him. With it, you know, he kind of grabbed the feet like a gecko. Grabbed his surfboard with his feet like a gecko. So the board was, you know, there's almost a little comparison to that air from Kelly Slater in lowers. You know, it wasn't complete in control. It was a little radical. The board got away from him, but again, he just gripped with his toes and fished the board back underneath him.
Well, he rap danced his way out of it. Only had 1 foot on the board for a moment. Complete control through those maneuvers, but it's an 8.67, Ross.
Thank you, judges. They constantly throw me under the bus. But, you know, it was big. You know, there's different types of airs. Some airs are very technical, in control, where you're just hitting the ramp and you're boosting, and the whole time it looks like you're going to plant it like a snowboarder or a skater. And then there's other airs where you're just hucking yourself, and that was definitely what happened right there with that last air from Italo, and the judges loved it.
And a decent-looking wall standing up, but Ricardo's too deep. Italo, he might just prosper on the end of this one, finds a good corner to work with, whips his board vertically, and he's going to get out of there. A lot of foam on the face, and the wall just tapered off too quickly.
Yeah, I want to say it was even a little less than that, 8.1. But you're right. You know, it's not fair to compare different heats. They really try to compartmentalize every single heat on its own. So just the one move too, which is very noteworthy. One big air. It was definitely big. There's never going to be an argument and commitment and utilizing, you know, the heftiest part of the wave. Absolutely launching again. This is a big old huck. Got a little disconnected right there. And, you know, luckily for Italo, there's just a hint of south wind that kept that surfboard just a little bit connected to his feet. Back foot was completely off the deck as he leaned back on his back and kind of let the wave push him back up. He's so strong. We talk about that all year. His core strength is amazing. So it only took him like 1 second to kind of fish that board back under his feet.
Just over 8 minutes to go. And let's see how Ricardo Christie takes it. He's been out there with priority. He's been a little bit more patient than Italo. He's got a nice looking wall to work with here. Let's see what he can do. A floating re-entry to start, brings it through to the inside and finds himself a bit of cover, but he's not going to punch through that curtain. And just under 8 minutes to go. Ferreira getting an 8.67 for a wild backside air reverse, and he's up again after an equipment change, and he is so good at maintaining control when he's completely out of control, and he finishes that right off. He's looking to dump a 5.5 though to push further ahead of Ricardo Christie. Prior to that wave was looking for a 7.51.
Flags flying everywhere, and the Kiwi representing, looking for a ramp. Got some nice pop there. That was smooth, wasn't it? There wasn't one hiccup or hitch in that air. It's a nice little rotator, but it was on the inside when that section was a bit smaller. Italo trying to stick to being aggressive, but not as much pop in that air, and then just the closeout, so that shouldn't go into his top two.
I'm still not convinced that Italo's a goofy footer. I think he might actually be a regular footer.
He is neutral, isn't he?
He's totally neutral. He looks like a snowboarder when he surfs, and here he goes again. Speed to burn, and he takes to the air. And, I mean, had he ridden out of that one with an 8.67 for his last ride, I'd say he'd probably be getting close to a 10-point ride for that.
That's why I'm not directly talking to Gabriel. I mean, he's got a heat. But the family knows the situation, and they really just want to keep it on the DL and keep it kind of low-key. Like, yeah, but that's so far away, you know, and do the whole cliches. But, I mean, you know how it is. If you're hearing that thing, all of a sudden you just got to somehow just keep swatting it back out of your mind and not let it creep into your psyche.
Ricardo does have priority. Here comes a little wave.
30 seconds to go. And this is Ricardo's shot at it, chasing a 7.51. Bashes the lip to begin with, needs to go to the air here, lines up the section, throws the reverse, but doesn't ride out. 20 seconds remaining. And everyone's favourite Kiwi here on the championship tour. It looks like he'll be bundled out here in the third round.
That was a nice opportunity, but that was always going to be a really tough ramp. Again, that low tide exposing that really tight transition. That was a tough landing.
Well, the heat has come to a close. Italo Ferreira continues his amazing run as a rookie, fighting injury and landing the impossible. A healthy heat score total, 14.17, and he progresses directly through to the fourth round, where he'll come up against the winners from Heat 11 and Heat 12 of round 3. We're going to take